Welcome to the Wednesday Kvetch. Not that there's really a lot to talk about today.
No, just Trump making threats. Rene Gonzalez is suing the city. Some asshole hit my motorcycle and drove off because, we live in a community and everyone's fucking love and peace and whatever. And oh my God, but when you hit a motorcycle, you drive off like a chicken shit motherfucker.
Yeah, so chicken shit motherfucker out there. Own your shit, man. Come forward. Take care of your shit. I'm sure they listen to the podcast because clearly irresponsible people who drive over shit and run away are civically minded. Got nothing.
Character and integrity. I mean, today's bitching could be character and integrity. The mayor is asking other counties to help flip the bill because he doesn't know what a fucking budget is. Like, ooh, I'm in debt. I need to keep all these shelter beds going on. Hey, Clackamas in Washington, you want to throw me some money? Because I solved homelessness. No, you didn't, you shithead.
Washington's done a phenomenal job working on a lot of their houseless issues. Maybe instead of asking for money, you should ask for how they got it done, which is primarily housing people.
And actually having a deflection center that was up and running.
Yeah. Having a functional system to get people the services that they need to make sure that they are not living in the streets.
What a fucking concept.
What a fucking concept. Not to mention, I was just reading that HUD changed some policies that are going to put more mixed and immigrant families into the streets here in Portland. So we got that going for us also. But the quote unquote president of the United States openly threatened genocide of a people, which threatening genocide is illegal, much less acting upon it. And I can't imagine that this isn't all being driven from Stephen Miller and Netanyahu and Ben Gvir, who are all genocidal psychopaths. You and I think have talked about this before, about if you grew up in New York, everybody in New York knows what a piece of shit loser, dumbass, Donald John Trump. Also, is that not the stupidest fucking name? Donald John Trump. It's like, give your kid a fucking reasonable name, not like Kip. But anyway, whole point being, everybody knows he's a fucking idiot, right? But he's so simple that what he says is on his mind, and if he can do it, he will. Every single time he says something about somebody he hates or thinks of an enemy and accuses them of something, or every time he says something blatantly racist and people are saying, oh, well, he wouldn't ever really do that, or he's just speaking what's on his mind or whatever, he does it. And like back in 2015, when I was in South Florida and talking with my dad's friends who were old as fuck, like my dad was, and they're like, oh, he's never going to do that stuff. He's just speaking unfiltered. I'm like, if somebody says that they're going to go after people and they become president, they're going to go after people. And he has. So whether it's Stephen Miller or not, he's still the president of the United States, still has access to the fucking nuclear codes. He's got another psychopath headed up the Department of Genocide. Let's just call it that instead of Department of War. Fucking stupid name. And they're going to kill a bunch of people. I mean, I'm glad to see Merkley speaking out against it and stuff like that, but why aren't the electeds like, we're done. We're not going to write any more strongly written letters. We are going to stop government from doing anything, and we are going to demand this fucking deranged, deficient human being be removed from office. Not that putting J.D. Vance in is going to be any better. J.D. Vance is actually fucking in Hungary stumping for Orban. We shouldn't let him back into the country. He is also a clear and present danger to the rest of Americans. And then the succession is president, vice president, Secretary of Agriculture. I forget. Who's the Secretary of? It's probably also a fucking psychopath. They're all psychopaths. And I want to be fair to people I know that struggle with mental illness, right? Psychosis and having psychotic episodes is not the same thing as being a dangerous, hateful, murderous villain psychopath. So I have friends who have to deal with psychosis, and it's not the same thing. So I don't want to be mental illness shaming in a very
No, you're
serious
not.
sense.
You're
Um,
not. I mean,
but
there's plenty of people who are psychopaths. Some of them are lawyers.
I all right, let's talk about the lawyer crowd. Anyway,
Don't get me started. I'll be shunned.
well, let's talk. No, I think that's a great segue into lawsuits and Rene Gonzalez, who cares so much about the city that he actually got a refund of the fines he paid. The
Yes.
city said, you didn't follow the process you should have. We're going to give you $12,000 back. But he wants accountability, according to his lawyer. So they're going to sue the city in a jury trial. And I hope to fuck they find the city already paid restitution and they force them to pay all the legal fees, which would cost more than what he got back.
But it ruined his reputation and perhaps his chances of being mayor, and the distress and the duress that we caused him and the smearing and the don't rank Renee that came out of it. My God, his life is ruined.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with it. Nobody gave a shit about getting extra money through or lying about how you got your money. It's not that he didn't do it. It's not that he didn't falsely accept money, knowingly accept money he shouldn't have. It's not that he wasn't guilty of it. It was that there wasn't a due process behind finding him for what he did actually do. That's why. It had nothing to do with the fact that, I mean, he would have been defamed regardless if they had followed the process, because he accepted money he shouldn't have and lied about it, just like he lied about being attacked on a TriMet train by a person who walked by him. And I love that he's like, I was assaulted. They swore at me and da 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 da. And TriMet said, that didn't happen, motherfucker.
I
And
feared for my life. I got shoulder checked and now then you remember he rode his bike everywhere for a little bit because he was terrified. And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you whiny little motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and go home. How about you just quit your job? In fact, why don't you leave the city? Move
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, yeah. If you're so unhappy here and you feel so unsafe, fucking move to,
A
I don't
cave.
know, Coeur d'Alene.
Go live in a cave. And in fact, we'll put a boulder in front of it so no one can come in and you can't come out. And
I
maybe
like
on Easter, like Jesus will just move it and go, hey, and then put you back in.
feed them every 3 days. Okay. I like that idea.
Give him a heat lamp, like a lizard. We'll just treat him like the fucking snake he is.
I don't understand these people and their egos and
Comes down to character and integrity.
or lack thereof. Yes, I
Right.
agree. Yeah. I mean, he has character. It's just the dumbest fucking lowest common denominator. I've been up since like 5:30, man. I had a 6 o'clock meeting. I've had a little bit of coffee and a little bit of my smoothie. And yeah, neurons are like, dude, we're just checking out now.
Yeah, the underlying about all of these folks who've been in positions of power or are currently in positions of power is that one, they abuse it, they misuse it. And a lot of the things they do, I mean, obviously when you're on a federal level, you are affecting millions of people and they may not be your own citizens. You're just blowing people the fuck up or trying to terrify them, you know?
Right.
But on a local level, thousands or whatever. What this all reminds me of, though, is dysfunctional families, because I feel like the mentality is the same. You have an abusive parental figurehead. They exert a lot of power. They make threats. they do things to keep you, quote unquote, in line by threatening to take away something or threatening to hurt you, or they do hurt you.
Mm.
So then you grow up to be a child who maybe has scars, physical scars in their body, mental scars, emotional scars. And then you either repeat that cycle or you spend your whole life trying to break it, you know. And maybe you've grown up your whole time saying you're not good enough or we don't like you or you don't belong or I'll fucking kill you and I can because you're my child, you know. And so what do? Donald Trump, apparently his father was a complete bastard, and we know this. He was an
Yeah.
abusive fucking alcoholic. His sister did not grow up to be like this, but
No.
he followed the pattern, and some of his own children are following the fucking pattern or just quote unquote falling in line. For a while, his two older sons were backing his ass left, right, and center, and they still do, but like his daughter just kind of follows it, and it's kind of creepy how much he touches his own daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
then you look at our local government and Rene Gonzalez, I mean, I felt like he would have just trampled and thrown people in jail and wouldn't care if some folks who have addiction problems, I mean, I'm just going to say it, I don't think he gave a shit if they would die on the street.
It was clear that that was his intention from the beginning, is no mercy, because that was the policies that he was kind of pushing forward and the money he was taking from the no mercy people. He went after Hardesty to get the council seat. He paid a firm over $500,000, or his PAC did, to unseat her, which I don't know the stats, but I am pretty sure that is one of the highest amounts that anybody's ever paid to get on city council. And he had help with the very temporary Portland Police Union president that circulated lies about Hardesty as well right before the election, which fucked things up even more. I mean, a lot of his policies were Trump aligned as
Mhm,
far as dealing with homeless people and addiction. But to your point, I think there's two personalities, detrimental personalities that rise in the political scene, right? One is megalomaniacal. They have a personality, and then once they get in charge, they're like, I deserve to be here, so I get to be in charge and do whatever the fuck I want. And then there is that kind of like damaged savior mindset, but without any kind of self reflection or ability to hear other voices in their head whatsoever. We talked about this not too long ago, right? The people who rarely get into office are the people who've done the work and are there because they feel like they can actually do real good and repair the brokenness out there. And to your point, people who live in severely dysfunctional families, because I would argue almost all families are dysfunctional. The ones that aren't dysfunctional are the worst. Like, this is a healthy looking family. No, there's horrible things going on if the whole family looks clean and well fed and happy. It's absolutely Stockholm syndrome, which isn't a real thing, but anyway, it's still fun to say. But no, people make a decision to, like you said, to either perpetuate the harm or try to do better and
right.
different. And the people that I appreciate the most have seen a lot of hardship day to day growing up or as an adult or however societal. And they bring that as an informed approach to how they want to make things different. Friday we'll be putting out our discussion with Councillor Green. And I love the fact that the dude is served in combat, right?
Mhm.
He understands real challenge and fear, and he brings that mindfulness into the work he does. It's such a powerful viewpoint that is rarely there. Valdez Bravo is another political figure who I really, really appreciate, who I believe served in Afghanistan, and he worked for the Veterans Administration here, the hospital, for a number of years, and now is president of Healthcare for All Oregon. This is a dude that really gives a shit about community and shows up. Valdez, run for mayor, man. Or president of the United States. Holy fucking shit. Handsome dude. All right, I'm going to go on a Valdez Bravo rant for a moment. does really good work. His name is Valdez Bravo. Come on. You can't have a better name to run with than vote for Bravo, right? Come on. Anyway, I love seeing good people out there trying to do good works because they know how fucking hard it is for everybody else. Rather than, oh, I've ascended now. I'll make sure that everybody listens to me, and I want the I don't know. I was just going to go on a rant about a former employer, but I'm not going to do that.
The one thing I do appreciate, sure, everyone probably has some sort
Sure.
of dysfunctional childhood or upbringing, or something went sideways in their life, even if it looks good on paper. So even Bravo probably has some crazy static in his family. Fine. The most important thing to me is that when you get into a position of power, you don't forget your roots.
Yes.
And we see that also where you see folks like, I'm gonna name names because guess who has zero fucks to give? Lance Orton at
Oh
City.
yeah.
He has an incredible story of overcoming addiction and being homeless, and now he's married and he has a family and he's stable, and he is the executive director of the City Team in Portland. City Team is multi-state. There's so many things that he advocates for that align with Nathan Vasquez, our district attorney, aligned with Rene Gonzalez, and now align with Mayor Wilson, but harm the very community that allegedly he is supposed to be working on behalf of and representing, or at least trying to empower and lift out of the muck. There are moments I'm like, have you forgotten what it's like? Have you forgotten what it's like to feel minoritized, to be ignored, to feel like people are just telling you what to do? Like, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or stop doing drugs, or get over any sort of trauma or abuse you had that is now impacting you getting a job. Just get a fucking job.
Here's what I think, because I've seen this. We've seen this frequently enough. Is somebody had help or didn't even have help, pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, although I argue that's not a thing. You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There's this thing called gravity. It keeps you grounded. You need help,
It's
right?
pushing me down. I'm getting shorter, man.
Yeah, well, so am I, but that's just age. But people who can overcome the challenges in their life, I think some of them don't understand or are reflective enough of all the help and challenges that they had to overcome to get there. They come out of it with an idea of, well, I was able to do it. Why can't everybody else? Without an acknowledgement that they are not everybody else. And you see this in a lot of weird spaces of folks that have risen above. I think Clarence Thomas is a perfect example of this. He was more of a radical when he was younger, but he got into the upper echelons with help, and somewhere something switched in his head and said, fuck it, I'm going to embrace this culture of getting everything you fucking can, and people who aren't smart enough or wily enough to do that, that's on them. And I really think that's where it's that kinda prosperity evangelism idea that is behind all that, which tracks with the person he married, who is not a mentally well human being, in my humble opinion. I get that not everybody has a good sense of critical thought or empathy or compassion. Not everybody's wired the same way. But when you look at someone suffering and you had suffered in a similar way, but you found a path beyond it, and you look at them and say, well, you're suffering. Obviously, you're just not trying hard enough, forgetting that they were that same person at some point. What is the opposite of that? Crystal Delahanty, right? Who sees that person suffering in everyone and wants to help all those people. She is the example of how do you go through something and come out being a better person that wants to do real good, right? Or Angelita, same kind of thing. Like, these are the challenges I had growing up. I don't want anybody else to experience these things, so I'm going to champion hunger relief and housing and things like that. It's not that rare to find those examples. It's just the people who take that opposite end, like Rene Gonzalez is, who keep throwing themselves into the media, and that's who the media pays attention to. And it's garbage. We need to stop promoting people who are just garbage. All right,
But,
that's my
you
rant.
know the garbage is what sells the paper. The garbage is what gets people I mean, we're talking
Stop
about it,
buying the fucking paper. No more Oregonian.
but it's the garbage that we
Bad
wanna hear.
Oregonian.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, this is all character integrity. It's like, look, you don't have to give all of your money and power and fame away, but can you at least remember and give a fraction of give back? And it's not pay it forward. Sometimes it's pay it back or something. Donate to an org you believe in, or go back and make sure your elderly neighbor is okay. Like it can be as simple as that.
No,
And
no,
maybe you do go
checking on your
into
neighbor is a huge thing.
Yeah. Maybe you go into an industry or a job that you try and help folks. I slide my scale for a good reason. And I'm in the field of law that I am in for a good reason. Like, I don't believe anyone goes into family law without any sort of family residue. I don't believe people normally go into hard industries like homelessness, housing, addiction, without somehow knowing somebody who also dealt with it and they want to somehow give back. I think your first steps of getting into a certain industry are usually very, very good. Once you're in there, some people can forget. And some of it's because of who you're surrounded with. Just same with becoming a police officer. There are some police officers who's definitely signed up thinking, I want to protect a city. I want to protect a community. I want to protect people. I want to be the good guy. I want to do these things. Then you get in there and you're like, ooh, guns. Ooh, pepper spray. Oh, cool. A shield. Oh, nice. A drone. Oh, I have all this power. Now I can fucking play Tom Clancy in Portland. And you see everyone as an enemy combatant. And so anyone who gets in your way is now an enemy. And your thinking has been skewered because you see everyone on
Mhm.
their worst day. And you can't remember or at least think about like,
Well,
well, maybe my uncle was also this guy.
I think there's a part of that too, is that a lot of people get into it for that reason, right? Is that there is some sort of harm against them, and they want to get in there so that the quote unquote people doing the harm can't be bad guys anymore. Then you have people get in there for absolutely all the right reasons, wanting to take care of community and help people that are in danger or fear or what have you. But the other kind of mindset is a pervasive culture, and if you do wanna do good and you're in a culture that isn't healthy, it's a hard decision to make. Do I stay and do I try to keep doing good? And I know a lot of police over the years, and some of them Portland police also, who have really good intentions and who are good people. I think for the most part that I've seen, a lot of them are in cultures that really don't reward that, and that breaks you down over time, or you just decide you're gonna keep fighting towards it, or in some cases, I know people are like, "I can't do this anymore," and become, citizen advocates or do something different that they feel like they can, but they also lose a lot of their day-to-day power to affect things, and it really, really creates a, what's the word? Not a depressive state, but a no-win situation, which is not healthy for society either, whereas people who wanna do good work are like, "I need to do something else."
Which is why sometimes systemic change from the inside feels like it doesn't work.
Right. I do feel like incremental change is generally what you're gonna get anyway. So, I think people who can keep at being in an environment that kinda sucks and still trying to do good work are, in my mind, heroes to me,
Mm.
because you know you're gonna be limited at what you can actually accomplish, yet you're still gonna put yourself out there every single day and try to make the world a little bit better, and that's an amazing thing. Gesundheit. Did you hear the sneeze? That was adorable. What are your needs, Walden?
If you hold him up, will he talk into the mic or no?
He probably will, or he'll be like, "Why are you holding me?" He does not like being on camera. He's like, "I did not consent to this. Show everybody your pink
Oh,
feet." He's like, "I am going to kill you as soon as you let go of me."
he matches the Progress Portland color scheme.
Well, that's why we picked him.
Maybe he needs a little t-shirt.
Yeah, he'd love that. He will wear a tie. I do have pictures of him in, like, a bow tie. I think the post I did with it was cat, Walden the cat,
Mhm.
like
Alright.
Bond, James Bond, yeah, anyway. Murdered, Not Stirred. I have a little dead mouse there in a martini glass. I don't know.
Maybe we can
Uh,
just start making memes with our cats.
your cats are hysterical and gorgeous and probably not as big of assholes as he is lately, so,
They have their moments. They're
mm.
pretty chill though, and I think it's because they have each other.
Well, and their mom is totally chill too, so
Oh, sure.
you're just like the
Yeah, fucking chill. Getting on Blue Sky and calling the mayor a big baby and then calling Renee a whiny ass little bitch. Yeah, I mean, that's going to meetings and giving testimony and being like, "Do you understand what we're advocating for? Do you understand what trauma is? Do you understand what survival mode is? When a cop throws you on your chest on the ground, do you fucking understand?" And then hearing like Schmaltz being like, "Well, they were resisting." And it's like, you do not throw their ribs down on the pavement and then put your knee on their back. I don't care. And then pick them up by their shoulder blades, in which he still denies that his police officers did that to me. They picked me up like I was luggage. So no. Sometimes I have chill and sometimes I have no chill.
accountability is fucking accountability, and again, through PSEP, I work with all of Portland Police Bureau leadership, or connect with them. I don't know, work with is the right term. I don't get paid for nothing. I do think most of the time, a lot of them have the right intentions and are trying to make things better, but I've also seen people get body checked with a bicycle by Portland bike cops. There was chaos on a May Day, and I just saw someone take their bicycle and just slam it into somebody
Yep.
to stop them from moving. And I'm like, where where in the directives does it say you should be able to do that? And if it does say you can do that with your bicycle, those directives need to be changed. If you go to assault somebody, then yeah, you probably deserve to be arrested. But if you're not complying, that's civil disobedience to protected free speech. You don't get to beat the living shit out of them or pick them up, throw them into the ground, or slam them with a bicycle because they're not listening to you. You just don't. And if your policies say you do, those policies need to fucking go, man.
Which is why I'm
Um,
glad that PSEP does exist and keeps pushing to make some directive changes. Now, as to whether or not they get listened to, as to whether or not the cops actually do it when they're on the ground is always another question, but at least it's in writing.
let's pivot into that for a moment. One of our members is working on a directive database, and there will be a dashboard. The dashboard will not only show what directives we've done over the last so many years, 8, 9 years, what the directives were they accepted or not, and we're going to start a review process saying, were they enacted in the way that we intended them to? And we're going to start doing some, it'll be more subjective, but did they have the desired intentions or outcomes from it? Because sometimes you can write something and have it passed and adopted and it still doesn't actually meet what the intention was. So we're really trying to evolve what we're doing in Portland Committee on Community Engaged Policing and look at the efficacy of the work and focus more on recommendations and outcomes.
Good.
So it's going to be a really interesting year as we move forward. We have a lot of new energy and a lot of new members, and I'm super excited for that. We really, I feel like in the 2.5 plus years I've been on the committee, have a pretty well-rounded representation across age, demographic, and experiential experiences. It's time for lunch.
And with that,
Experiences.
goodbye. No. See you later. Um,
And we're back to food. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for what this year is gonna look like. Hold on, one more plug for the 16th or 17th, I think, is going to be a conversation about codifying PSEP into, city code.
Excellent.
So next week, have more details about that because we'd love to have people show up and support this. And one of the things that I am pushing for going forward out of all the new public safety focused committees, CBPA, PSEP, FitCog, which isn't new, it's been around for a while, the new PSR oversight or community oversight group, is to have in the IT world, we call it Scrum of Scrums type approach, where at least quarterly all the committees get together, present to each other, talk about each other's agendas and learnings, and help each other do the work of improving our public safety system. And
Are those forums public?
I would want them to be. So I would think that they would need to be, but also just have those touch points at least every 3 months so that you're not running around in silos. It has to be a inclusive, intersectional thing. Otherwise, we keep running into the same issues. And
Well, and
eventually, the budget has to evolve in that direction as well.
right, and you wanna make sure that recommendations to different bureaus do not conflict or clash with the other ones. So it is really good to have a check-in and then make sure that the end goal, the big, broad end goal aligns with all of you.
Yeah, and the administrative state of public safety as well, under the city manager system and the intentions of the legislators that are going to be creating new policy and code for those entities as well. It has to all be connected. Let's hope by the time this comes out, that
There's more whiny bitches or less?
let's run them off, but I don't think that's gonna happen overnight. Let's
They
run
might
them off,
multiply
but
like bunnies.
we
Might
we
run one
do
off.
have we do have an election coming up, and I am sure there's gonna be plenty of little whiny bitches showing up to run for office saying, "Portland's falling apart. The liberals are destroying it. We need more Reagan era policies."
That's already in play. Eli Arnold is very loud on LinkedIn still, with his weird bleached hair and his, like, anthropomorphic.
He's still a cop, right?
He thinks cop is a slur. Please call him what he is, a jackass.
I'm gonna dial back a little bit from that. So, but if you're spending a lot of time complaining about the citizenry that you are supposed to be protecting and serving, I don't feel like you're serving that citizenry well.
No, especially when you look like a walking Lego. And on that note,
You hear that? He's on the desk, my working table behind me where I have parchment paper, which I use to do the T-shirt with, and that make a lot of noise.
oh,
So,
hi.
and I think I just had a bird knock on my door. This is like Disney Princess Land if it was hell.
Okay,
Like birds are yelling at me. I have cats that are,
that can be our next segment.
do not eat the cords.
He wants your attention.
He's eating the cord. He's like, hey, look at this. I'm gonna eat the cord. It's like, I
Oh,
know you don't like that, so I'm gonna fuck with your shit.
yeah, because he wants your attention, which you should go give him. I have to get my motorcycle towed.
Yeah,
I actually have
go.
work to do, which is why I'm not in pajamas. So I actually have a real shirt on for once in my life. So
Oh,
yeah,
is that's the reason. Okay.
yes, I don't
No.
just dress up for my cat.
Me either. I put on a clean t-shirt today. Anyway, good luck with your motorcycle. I'm sorry for all that shit.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, we will talk later.
Peace.
Progress Portland is also on Facebook and Instagram, and we have event listings and updates on our website, progressportland.org. There's a content form on our website if you'd like to help out or have questions or comments. Our theme music is by the Portland band Helvetia.